Namaste. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to you all. Happy Lughnasadh, Lammas. This is such a beautiful time of year in the northern hemisphere and actually one of my favorite times of year. And I thought today that I would start with a couple of things to share. One is that during the Sabbats of the Wheel of the Year, I do like to go back to the Weaver's Oracle. There is a clan of weavers called the Life Clan, and each of these weavers marks one of the Sabbats on the Wheel of the Year. And this is the weathered woman of the harvest kiss, and her name is Sun. And I just wanted, if you're not familiar with Carolyn Hillier's amazing collection of paintings that were made into oracle cards, this is the from the Weaver's Oracle. And these particular weavers were painted and their items were collected during each of the Sabbats. Carolyn Hillier writes, I painted each weaver, collected her pieces of nature, and stitched her skirt only during the 6 weeks of the year that spanned her season. I had to wait for and patiently seek out those gatherings from the land, so the creation of the skirts took 2 years to complete. What remains unseen beneath the skirts is as significant as what is visible. The clan is formed from a cycle of paintings called Weathered Edge. And just a few lines from the third part, which is called Her Cloth. Our music lifts and coils around the gardens. We breathe a hymn of flower and herb and hive across the fields. We slide through songs of stream and pool and dew pond as we linger in the pastures. We stoop to drink from dripping wells. Through long melodic insect days, our dance is played out beneath the sun. Our skin is clothed by evening breezes, and our eyes are blessed by soft morning rain. By now our hair is braided through with seeds and secret sweetness. The earth is given plenty to feed this bright life dance. We gather this feast of nature into our laps and bind our spells to catch the essence of these days. We make courageous oils, consoling ointments, cheery infusions, and a remedy in which the sun itself is suspended, ready to discharge remembered heat into wintry bones. At last we sip a little honey from the comb and seal the potency of our warm summer spells. The words are just so beautiful in her writings. Oh my goodness. It's a blessing to have a number of decks in your collection, your library, and yet you can't have them all out at exactly the right time. And every time I pull out and read from Carolyn Hillier's words, I am moved. So very, very moved. So Sun, the weathered woman of the harvest kiss. We'll go here for now until I can find another card stand to bring to the table. All right, so what's going to happen today is I am going to do a reading for Lammas. I'm going to read this little bit, and I really like the prompts that came up here. This is from my Wee Moon Journal, and this will be a reading for the collective for Lammas. And then we are going to go back into the discussion of the tarot decks that we have been looking at for the last many weeks. This is the 13th week we are looking at them. And today in particular, I'm going to look at the 9 and the 10 of Cups. And for the first time with the Mythologia Fennica, I'm going to weave in some of the major arcana as well to help bring more familiarity with some of the names and the archetypes that are interwoven through the minors from the majors. Okay. And the deck that I'm going to do the reading with is just beneath here, and that is Journey of the Sacred Bee. All right, so this is not in focus. Maybe I can hold it up and read it for you. I might have to just hold it in hand. All right, so I encourage you to, if you want to be shuffling some cards while I read this, the questions at the end are just beautiful. You may also want to jot these down as a focus for this weekend and the week ahead. Lammas. Benevolent and bountiful Pachamama sustains life. Her natural state overflows with abundance. She teaches us to give without judgment or conditions. She freely sacrifices her fruit and offers herself to feed our bodies. We honor her and we receive the gifts of harvest. And just as an aside, if you're joining me in the chat today, I would love to know what you are harvesting from your garden. At Lammas, we get a taste of goodness yet to come, and we sit with uncertainty and vulnerability. As sun begins to wane, we have high hopes for our crops to yield in soil and in spirit. Spring's green is now gold, and we feel summer slipping away. Roll up the sleeves and do the work. Collect seeds for the future. Preserve, freeze, dry, and share with community. There is joy in giving and receiving. We contemplate now what grows within us. What is ripe for the picking? A call from Earth Mother beckons all empaths, healers, artists, musicians, and warriors of love to step up. Share your wisdom, your gifts, and invoke a world where all beings are nourished. It is time to turn this upside down and right side up. So the focus here is on sharing your gifts, sharing your wisdom, and providing nourishment for others. The writer here is Mahada Thomas. She asks, what is ripe for the picking? What are you ready to share? And so, yes, this is a reading for the collective, but I think we can dive into a theme here to see if there is a general message. As well, I want to honor this. We've just moved into the second decan of Leo, and this is such a brilliant card that represents this decan being the Six of Wands. It is, I just feel that Lammas lands at such a powerfully, it's so strong, this particular decan, and I hope that we can all find something to share and to honor and to grow and maybe perhaps nourish others in a way that we hadn't expected that we would share our gifts. As always, I ask this message be in the highest for the greatest good, and that no harm be done. So be it. Peace. I have so many cards on the table for our discussion shortly, so I will try to get a few distractions out of the way. Let's have a look here, what's going on. There is an emergence from a lotus, and there is a lot of sweetness here. This beautiful being, let me see if I can zoom in so you can see the art. It's like she is kissed in sparkles and magic. And this is a beautiful card of unfolding. And the Two of Swords, the key word in the Golden Dawn is peace. This is a lunar decan. This card is often known as, referred to as the Little High Priestess, or the Little Priestess. And there's just something really, I think this fits so beautifully with this question because it honors this blossoming, this unfolding, perhaps revealing something that you hadn't even thought of sharing. And I can feel this almost emotionally, hello Dee, in my arising from my throat. Two of Swords, Two of Swords. There often in this card is a realization that happens when the external gaze and the internal gaze come together and our mind and our heart find a peace. They find a union. In the mood of abundance and ripeness and the fruit of the plant. There's just something really gorgeous with the colors in this card. And then we have 10 of Pentacles, another card of tremendous abundance in this earth. And the Priestess is here, so how inspiring to have both the Priestess and the priest, the Little Priestess and the High Priestess in the same reading. I don't know that have had that for a long time, especially in a small reading, maybe in a larger 10 card some time ago. And so there's something here that's really important, a realization that will only come through a reveal, letting your hair down, allowing a preconceived notion to fall away. And when that falls away and you allow your inner light to shine, something quite abundant and magical is revealed. I feel that the card on the left is an indication that each of us has more to share than we realize. And this could be a kind word. It could be a poem that you write for the mood of the season. It could be a gift from your garden to a neighbor you haven't spoken with in years. I almost feel like there's a neighbor who's a bit of a recluse here and preparing a bountiful basket to give to them. Might be something really might shake them up in a way that makes them feel seen. So I invite you to consider what this opening might reveal for you and how you may nourish another at this time through deep insight and connection, with a deeper understanding of what nourishment means and what the sharing of gifts means. Hi Perry, welcome to you. I want to highlight Dee's comment here. Goddess. Oh, goodness, I read Goddess. We are surrounded by tomatoes, cucumbers, field beans, peas, onions, runner beans, so much bounty. We are blessed. The cucumbers are growing so abundantly on my deck. I really overplanted this year, so I will have lots to share already we're receiving the fruit of the plant. And the tomatoes and the nasturtiums are so beautiful right now. I feel, and the hummingbirds are, when it's not too hot, they're out. And the dragonflies, it's just such a gorgeous, gorgeous time of year. So welcome. I'm kind of moved by this question. And it makes me think about in what different way that I don't already do. So this is above and beyond. This is something for each of us that maybe we hadn't thought of doing. So consider this, consider how you may nourish and share your abundance with another. Beautiful. I think those are cards to definitely leave out on the table once I clean out my desk here. All right, so where we are in this story, I have an abundance of books. So many things to share and talk about here. All right, now, one of the things that I have not done in this deck chat is to bring in any of the major arcana. And if I did, it was very fleeting, and it was in the beginning of our discussion of this deck. I may have done a walkthrough or something. And I have these cards here on the table because, as well as the Empress, Luhi, because these are all important archetypes in the Nine of Cups in this deck. So just to sort of review what we have here, Ilmarinen is the magician, and Ilmarinen and Lemminkainen, who in this deck is strength, and Vainamoinen, the emperor. These three are brothers, and we have seen or heard their names again and again. And I am going to read a little bit from the Wheel of Fortune card, which is Sampo. And Sampo is referred to not as a Sampo, but it's anthropomorphized. It is this great gift that Ilmarinen forged, created for Luhi, the Empress. And I'm really glad that I started with the Minor Arcana. Another card that I'll just hold up today is Ukko. We have looked at Ukko before, the King of Swords. I'm really glad that I started with the minors and with this deeper understanding of the tales and the archetypes and the comparisons with the other cards, because I think it was a great foundation to begin to weave all of this together. The Nine of Cups in this deck is Rapid Spirit. We have had in this deck a lot of anthropomorphized water energy in the 7, 8, 9 of Cups. And this particular one is Rapid Spirit. Okay. So I'm going to be a bit of an elementary school teacher here and hold up cards as I go through and read the story. And if you have your own deck, you can pull these out as well too and have a closer look. Okay. And Amelia, who is from Finland, says that my pronunciation is okay. So I'm sorry if I offend anybody, as always with any foreign language, with my pronunciation. All right, so we start with Vainamoinen, Emperor. And we have talked about this musical instrument before. Ilmarinen, magician, and master of the forge. And Lemminkainen were on their way to Pohjola to get their share of Sampo. Vaimoinen had found a boat on the shore and turned it into a mighty war ship. When the boat ended into the torrents of a rapid, Lemminkainen began to chant the words of rafting, calling the rapid spirits to aid. He ordered rocks to bow their heads, and Kivi Kimo, son of Kamo, to break the largest boulders in half, so that the boat could pass unharmed. He asked the master of the sea to smooth the stones into moss, and Riparian maid to spin a blue yarn to mark the safe path. He also prayed to Melitar and Ukko, the chief of gods, to hold the helm and guide their journey. And so they managed to clear the rapids without coming to any harm, thanks to his spells. According to Finnish folklore, the rapid spirits were the most powerful spirits of the water. It was dangerous to offend them, for they could claim their revenge by drowning people. One such spirit became enraged when a mill was built into its rapid, and it retaliated by causing all sorts of troubles to the villagers. One foggy December morn, the spirit unleashed the water, causing a flood so great that the mill and some of the houses that were built close to the shore were washed away. Rapid spirits were also said to hold grudges. At springtime, they could send dry weather to starve the crops and downpours during the harvest. They could also teach musicians how to play the violin, although this kind of supernaturally acquired skill often ended with a musician drowned one way or another. There is a lot of power in the rapids' wild torrents, which pushes you forward. In the right hands, this energy can produce the necessary energy to achieve miracles. One must be careful of these waters, though, for it may be a bumpy ride. Ideas come as quick as a flash, and one should already act on them before even having the time to think them through. The rapid spirit is the harbinger of an action-filled period. In these situations, one must be able to trust one's own instincts and good luck to avoid the danger of the rapids. And just skipping on down here. Only keeping up with the rapids' torrents and focusing completely on the present moment can help you come through on your missions. You will see that your strength will be enough for greater things than you even thought of. When Ilmarinen, Vaimoinen, and Lemminkainen are all three on board, even the strongest rapids of life will go past without damaging your boat. These three mighty men represent the forces within you, which you will need on your journey. Old Vainamoinen symbolizes wisdom, that you've gained from the lessons of your life experiences. I really like this artwork on this one. Lemminkainen symbolizes courage and the ability to throw oneself into life without fear for the challenges it will bring. And Smith Ilmarinen symbolizes the skill with which you can express the talents and possibilities within you. By using all these powers in your situation, you have great possibilities to make it through the challenges ahead of you with success. Okay, so I think also in response to today's question, while we didn't draw the Nine of Cups, we did draw these powerful water cards. Granted, the Mercury card is not a water card. The Pentacles one. It is a receptive card, though. High Priestess and Little Priestess. One is, they're both connected to the moon and the water. And so there's something here about this goddess energy. Maybe even in the Ten of Pentacles, there is an overwhelming abundance available from the goddess. Now, the goddess is indirectly connected to the 10th Sephira. This is this manifest place of earth where it looks like pure potential in that card. Anything and everything is available thanks to the work that we have done. And this lesson of Ilmarinen is one of using any and all of your resources available to create, master, and share all that you have. Now, I'm not going to read the whole Ilmarinen page, but there is something towards the end I just wanted to read. Ilmarinen forged wonders because he was willing to learn how to make them through trial and error. Many a useless contraption was cast back into the flames of his forge as he honed his idea to an ever higher level. The smith symbolizes the forging of strong new forms in your life, as well as power and masculinity. Ilmarinen forged the golden plow and the eagle, which helped him overcome Louis' tasks. And we'll go back. I mean, there's so much to read and weave together here. But this is a really interesting take on the Nine of Cups, is it not? Where, think of this as the wish card. There is a powerful energy, if you want to think of Jupiter in the Golden Dawn associations, Jupiter as the guru planet, Jupiter as abundance and expansion. And here we are in a 9, this place of ripeness and very full moon kind of energy. Water is ready to help move something. I would say that it is, when this card appears in a reading, there's something within that is stirring, and if the ripeness isn't apparent, it certainly is visible by others that are in your periphery, because it's so large and powerful, a very, very powerful force. Hello, Vintage Moon. I believe it's Sissy, right? I love the artwork and stories, but find it works as an oracle too, without seeming overwhelming as I started with the original no RWS titles. Yes. And when a tarot deck is based in folklore or fairy tale, and especially in a deck where we have this weaving of the tales through all 78 cards, it can definitely be overwhelming. And my initial inquiry here was one of using these earth-centric decks, this one and Margaret Peterson and the Greenwood, to reflect more deeply on the elemental weavings in the tarot. I find that many a reader gets caught in defining cards rather than weaving cards. And from the get-go, when I teach tarot, that is something I try to imbue on my students. No card has a meaning without a question, and a card is always in conversation with another card. And this is so important in studying the tarot. All of these tidbits. So, shall we look at the other Nines of Cups? And I have a couple others decks, Nine of Cups, that I want to share as well. I think this is quite a misunderstood card, or maybe it's just a difficult card to understand. Let's say it that way. Okay, so the three decks we've been working with here on the table. Okay, so this is Greenwood, which is, I saw this, it has sold out, by the way, but thousands of decks, I believe, were pre-purchased. Generosity. And I just want to compare. So this is the Wildwood Tarot, Greenwood Tarot, Wildwood Tarot. And the colors are quite different. And I feel that several deck creators have picked up on this gold energy in this card, the power that comes with this card. Asking, well, why is there so much fire and solar energy in a water card? This is the Way Home Tarot. This is the Lily Black Tarot. And look how similar these two cards look here. So I want you to think about this force of think of the Nine of Cups as a force. A force of fullness. You may also want to consider that this is the penultimate card of the astrological year. So if you look at this one, we see all of that yellow, that brightness, moving through something that is hidden, represented by the tablecloth. Interesting contrast here, this open arm gesture and this crossed arm gesture. So what I want to remind myself of, what I want to remember in this card, is the energy of Jupiter. And if it's not Jupiter, it is just there's a richness, there's a fullness here that is so powerful. You can also bring in, if you want, Pisces energy, that our spirit, our higher selves are seeking greater meaning and greater connection. And so why would this have been called the wish card? That seems like such a little name for a card of so much powerful energy. And it seems like if you look at that Lily Black tarot, or you look at here in the greenwood, there's a heart in the sacral chakra area. There's a light here. There's a golden bowl here. We've got the golden bowl here as well too. It's like this birth of, it's a primal energy that is being born here. Pure potential, something perhaps that has been dormant for the whole wheel, for the whole astrological year, however you want to look at it. And now it is lit. The energy is moving and it is warming and the water is flowing. And anything and everything is possible here. I've had a lot of decks on my table lately with the various videos I've been doing, and I've been reading from all kinds of, I want to say a mixed bag of deck creators. And I was sharing Bakara Whitner's deck the other day. I really have this, it was in the video that I did for beginners, decks I recommend for beginners. And I think I'm really kind of unusual in that I want all of my students to learn to work with pip decks. That is absolutely easier if we can have the tools to do that. And Bakara Whitner writes, she's so funny, not to interrupt your bliss, but the Nine of Cups also contains the faintest whisper of a warning. Things are always ripest right before they rot. In extreme cases, it may insinuate numbness, overindulgence, and even addiction. More often, the rot is due to smugness or self-satisfaction. Think couples in their early 20s who drone on about how lucky they are to have found each other, like people wait their whole lives and never get to experience what they have. That's such a funny, that's a great example, actually. It's like my 20-something, 30-something-year-old children who know everything. So going back, and then go back to the rapids, the idea of the rapids hiding underneath here. There is this power in this card that is undeniable, and it is God, goddess force. It's almost like a kundalini rising, and it could be overwhelming, and you don't quite know what to do with it. Maybe that's why the tablecloth is there. It's like, oh, I need to hide this. So this needs to be contained. And yes, certainly when we do have powerful energy arising, it's not something to be shared with the muggles. It's something it's for our personal development. But I just want to, I don't know. I think this really puts and I don't know what the word is. This is such an important card. And seeing it from these different angles gives us an opportunity to understand its greatness, rather than some of the ways it is oversimplified in many familiar decks. So remember this. Remember the rapid spirit in the Nine of Cups. Okay. And as I think about this too, I think of tears of joy, tears of almost, those tears that come without understanding. We may be watching, maybe we're watching somebody at an athletic event, and they succeed, they accomplish, they win the gold medal, and we find ourselves tears pouring down our face. Or maybe there's something in a movie and you find yourself crying uncontrollably. There's some deep connection here, some power of energy that wants to move and is ready to move. Let's not forget Margaret Peterson. So she says in this card that in order to understand this greatness, we have had to endure some pain. And I think of the journey from the Eight of Cups to the Nine of Cups. We have had to release, to let go, in order to know the abundance and the beauty of the pearl, the gem, the treasure within. And we all know that it takes years and years for a single pearl to form, and that it has formed through friction and pain and rubbing, and it is it's a labor of love. It's a labor of love. And when the Nine of Cups shows up, it says that all that you have been through, all this work that you have done, it's now presenting itself. Okay, shall we go to the Ten of Cups? Ten of Cups. Let's start with Margaret Peterson this time. Oh, the Daughter of Cups. I'm not going to get to her today, or them today. Just glancing at this card, I absolutely love the art on this card. So we'll do the Court cards next time. This card in the Margaret Peterson Tarot is called the Fulfillment card. It's simply the ocean. And when I personally connect to the ocean, I love to be in the ocean when it's warm. The ocean doesn't have to be warm, but when it's summer. And whether it is in a warmer climate such as Hawaii or the Caribbean, or whether it is here in Canada where the sea is never warm, but we have these beautiful summer days. When you enter into the ocean, and I want you to think about the Ten of Cups, there is an experience of density. There's a feeling of this relationship, especially if you can float, between, or even swimming under the water, our physical body and its space and the way it displaces water. It's an incredible place to understand our that's beautiful, Sissy. Thank you for sharing that. And even if you want to think about the Waite-Smith Ten of Cups, with that rainbow overhead and that expansive sky, and really that house and that family are just a dot, right? They're just a drip of water in the ocean, and yet it's so very beautiful, and we are all a part of that creation. The water that contains all and gives birth to everything, this is Margaret Peterson, to springs, rivers, waves, depths, and tears. You have accepted all facets of your emotions. The ocean has welcomed you, held you, absorbed you, thrown you around, gently rocked you, washed you up onto shore, and pulled you back. It has immersed you in hidden chasms and shown you the richness of your emotions. The ocean has engulfed you, cooled and warmed you. It has been your mirror and quenched your thirst. And if you think about this as a collective experience of everything that you have moved and lived through, this ocean of life. Okay. Greenwood Tarot was happiness. And in Mythologia Fennica, it's a pike. It's a fish. Do you know, this deck? I think there's something quite simply captured in the Ten of Cups in this particular deck. This is, oh no, it's the Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups I was thinking of. This one. And when I see that card, I imagine that this is it's a natural spring. This is one of those places in the earth where I'm sure you've all been to one. It's a natural spring where the water flows, and it's a deep connection from the deep within the earth. So the water emerges warm, and there's a lot of healing energy and great minerals and all of that. Sorry, going off on a bit of a tangent here. Let's go back to Mythologia Fennica, and this one, which again is it's quite a tale. It's quite a weaving of all of these characters again, and a bit of a struggle, and in the end, Susanna Sella says it refers to breakthrough. Ilmarinen, the magician, finally got his sought-after bride. So he was challenged by Lughnasadh, the Empress. I did have that card on the table. He was challenged by this archetype here to be the best version of himself that he could be in order to find his bride. It's almost like the tales of Hercules, where each subsequent challenge was greater than the one before. And in the end, all of these trials and tribulations, through all these trials and tribulations, this magnificent being emerges. And I think that short description about Ilmarinen and his never giving up, and his recognition about refining himself, refining his spirit, refining his skills, it's all one in the same. Yeah. And so the tale of the pike, I guess we should do this because this is kind of a bizarre story, but I'll make my way through this. Ilmarinen had proposed to the maid of Pohjola, and her mother, Lughnasadh, the card I just showed you, the Empress, had given him tasks to prove his worthiness. Ilmarinen had forged the Sampo, which I want to come back to. That is the card in the 10 in the wheel. plowed the fields of adders, and ranged the bear and wolf of Manala. But Luhi had demanded one final feat of skill from her future son-in-law. He was to catch the gigantic pike of Tuonela from Tuonela's Black River without using any tools like seine or net. The maid of Pohjola had begun to fancy Ilmarinen and had helped the smith in his tasks, and she also advised him how to catch the fish. She prompted Ilmarinen to forge a golden, fiery eagle that would catch the pike for him. Ilmarinen took her advice and fashioned an eagle that was so gargantuan that when its other wing reached the heavens, the other touched the ground. The eagle and the pike fought till death. The pike slipped through the eagle's talons, but at the third try the bird managed to lift its opponent from the water and flew with it to the crown of an apple tree. It ripped open the pike's stomach and tasted its flesh, and tore off its head, which fell to the ground. Ilmarinen admonished the eagle, but the bird took its prey and flew away. The giant pike's head was left to Ilmarinen, and he took it to Pohjola for Luhi to use as a throne. The mistress of Pohjola was finally convinced of the suitor's worthiness and agreed to give him her daughter. The wedding of Pohjola was held soon after, and that particular wedding is part of the story of the Lover's Card. So all of these stories, all of these archetypal characters are cleverly woven together throughout this deck. This card means great breakthrough. Ilmarinen finally got the sought-after maid of Pohjola as his bride. The eagle that helped him symbolizes higher powers, higher consciousness, and clear perception. It is the undisputed lord of the air. Ilmarinen had to purge pride, hate, and contempt from his heart in order to succeed without ending up in the pike's maw himself. This is represented by the tasks he had completed before. The tasks represented the challenge each of us faces during our lives. By purifying himself, Ilmarinen was finally able to reach his goal, the initiation, which the maid of Pohjola symbolizes. And so he finds himself in this great, vast sea of life, cleansed and clear and humble and grateful. It is, when I think of the Ten of Cups in general, sometimes I call this card it's like the encore. And if you look at the way that Pamela Coleman Smith drew it, it almost looks exactly like that. Like we're on a stage, it is a stage card, and the couple is facing towards the audience, taking the final bow. We have endured years and years of production, rehearsals, script editing. I mean, you could go on and on. I mean, I think of some of the musicals that endured in London and in Broadway for years and years. And when that final show, the final night, I don't know, have you ever been to a final night of a production? Maybe you've been in a production yourself. That is what this Ten of Cups, this happiness is. There's so much contained within this energy. And It is. You find yourself speechless. It's so overwhelming. And again, the tears may flow. Yeah, yeah. It's an amazing, amazing experience. And what Mythologia Fennica does here is to show that final leg, that final challenge that makes me into the person I am today. And every time that this card comes around, I will never be the same that I was last time this card came up in a reading. But it is this place that we both smile and have tremendous pride, and we cry, and we hug those that are close to us. And it is an ending and something we will never forget. And so this is where this card gets dummied down. And we must remember that indeed this is a wheel. This is an ending. This is a 10. It's the finale. This is an opportunity, I think, to count your blessings. Taking the bow and feeling the accomplishments of the group, and joyously embracing the exuberance of achieving the goal. It's incredibly, incredibly a beautiful time. And I hope in some way, large or small, you have all felt this. Okay, so let me circle back. Let me circle back to this reading, because I think this is all connected today. And the question was for each of us about sharing your wisdom, your gifts, to nourish in some way someone or someone's around you. And I think the reading with this card coming up, this is what I did at the beginning, if you missed this, says to us, we have an abundance of things to share. This is also a final card. This is the final of the final card, right? Fourth suit in Golden Dawn correspondences. And then these two wise women encircle this card and ask us to reflect and look really deep on maybe how and in what way we're going to share some of this wealth, some of these blessings that have come to us. So really interesting intersection between the theme of the reading and the cards that just happen to be the ones for discussion today. Thank you. Thanks for your contributions, and I always look forward to your comments later if you have time to come back and leave one below. And I want to wish you in some way this feeling of exuberance and joy. It's really, really beautiful. So many blessings to each of you, and I'll see you soon. Take good care. Namaste.